Quilsniv, your friendo, and with me is Nerd Wonder. Oh shit, we just came live.
LOL.
So today is story time with your boy, Neil.
Yay. I can
Um,
really contain my excitement.
well, she better learn to, because we're going into one of her favorite eras of Spider-Man ever. Um, yeah, we're going into the
Never say that
first.
again, you son of a bitch.
Oh, she does care. No swearing. No swearing. This is a Christian. This is a Christian stream.
Fuck off, you whore.
Oh, oh no. Oh, okay, whatever.
Fuck
Um.
off, bitch. This is my world.
Well, okay. Um.
Filled with
Here's
hatred.
the thing. We're gonna be reviewing the first four issues. Wait, no, that's four issues of Dan Slott's exclusive run on Spider-Man. Several of the people I planned to have with me couldn't be here tonight, so I brought in Nerd as kind of a substitute, so I have someone to bounce off of. Considering I like these first four issues, and I know she despises them with every ounce of her being. Um, so here's how story time works. I have the in first collection of the big time era, as long as two others, but we have a paper copy of this, and I will be reading from this. And so I will be obviously delivering a not brief but detailed synopsis of the issue, along with delivering my well-known sardonic wit and repartee with Nerd. Because when you put a person who likes something and a person who doesn't like something in the same room and tell them to talk about something, chances are they will fight each other to the death. And I look forward to that fight to the death because I will probably win. I think Nerd's realizing how. Hey. I think Nerd's realizing that she's lost this fight. Oh. Oh, I thought she like totally pussied out of the fight.
No, no, I'm sorry. Okay, so YouTube's being weird, and because I have like 4 emails, and I was checking my email earlier, and I accidentally clicked it, it logged me out of here because it was like, wait a minute, this is a different account. I hate everything. I hate this so
Oh.
much.
Okay.
Uh,
But
but I can't.
today, you ready for this, Nerd? Are you ready to talk about Spoder Boy? Dan
Yeah,
Dan
sure.
Dan Sloot's Spoder Boy?
Sure. Wait, you have to give everybody like I don't. I want to link. I want to link the channel, your channel to people.
Here, I'll DM you a
DM
copy,
me it right now.
a link to the stream. That's what I'm doing right now.
Good.
So before we get into the detailed story time, I want to talk about Slot's run as a whole.
It
Now, if
was
you've been,
shit.
yeah, I think she summed up in 2 words. It was wait, it's shit.
It's
Um,
no. I hate
here,
it. It needs to die. It needs to be eaten by a chupacabra, and it
well, you
deserves death.
well, you hate everything in the post Brand New Day era, so
Oh
you
yeah,
know.
but also, let's face it. How many cringeworthy things did he do that I had to say, and we'll go, "Oh, sweet merciful Christ, what has become of Spider-Man?" I already thought shit was already bad when this one guy had a mental meltdown and decided I don't want them married. I want him to bang my own daughter. But no, it got weirder.
Um, so I have a more detailed account of my opinions on Slot's run, and if you've been following me on Crawl Space, you know that the Slot issues that I reviewed for the Crawl Space, I did not like at all. There were maybe 3 or 4 issues I gave an A to,
I'm
and
shocked
even
you actually gave any of them an A.
oh, I guess I'm a contrarian.
No, I just think that it's impressive that Dan Slott actually made above average work.
No, he's actually. I think he's a good writer. I just think that he ran out of steam midway through Superior.
I think he needs to get therapy.
Oh,
I do. I'm very mad. Maybe he shouldn't have told me to go F myself, okay?
that's fair. Um, that aside, let's begin. This is Amazing Spider-Man number 648 to 651. It was only 34. It was only 39.99.
Oh
It's a
my
good
gosh! You spent
it's a
that
good
much on this crap!
I didn't. It was before I actually had money. It was a gift.
Oh, okay. Well, then we better make the best use of it because it's never going to get used again.
Yes, it is. If somehow by some miracle Revenge of the Spider Slayers wins, we'll come back to this exact volume. Well, that was a scary noise.
That is my undying hatred.
Okay. So, are you ready, nerd?
I'll never be ready. Let's just do it.
So, as we open the cover to the first page, we get a very flattering image of thick thighs Spidey
Oh,
in
God.
the Tron costume.
Dan Slott, I made Spider-Man have 400 different outfits because I'm special. Oh, I'm a fat guy that likes collect them all. That's why you 90s kids are just shut the fuck up. I hate you. I hate everything. This
Okay.
is bringing me in. This is all your fault.
Okay. Whatever helps you sleep at night, nerd. So, as we open the book, we get treated to another Ramos cover. This one of disproportionately proportioned Spider-Man swinging in front of silhouettes of all of his comrades. We have people such as Reed Richards, Wolverine, Spider-Girl, Susan Storm, Black Cat, Captain America, uh, Slott's OC, Joe Quesada's daughter,
Oh,
and
God.
An Asian cop. She's important. So to begin the issue, we cut to Spider-Man with the Avengers, and we come to our first problem with the book. Spider-Man's already teaming up with other heroes. Now, I don't have a problem with Spider-Man being an Avenger, but I don't think it's a good idea to start out your run with Spider-Man in the middle of a team-up. That's a bad idea.
Well, no shit, but let's face it, he sucks.
I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. It's that
Dan Slott will never be good.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that was uncalled for. Just very mad.
you got it, comrade.
I just don't like this man.
And for some reason, Peter gets to say Avengers Assemble instead of Captain America, who, if you remember, during this era of the Marvel Universe, it was Bucky Barnes who was Captain America because Cap got necked in the middle of the street during Civil War, and so Bucky decided to do it because why not? And so, I actually think that Spider-Man's banter for these first few pages is actually okay. It kind of pokes fun at a couple of existing spider tropes. There is this really nice. Well, I say nice, but you got Ramos's disproportionate limbs all over Captain America and Wolverine. Wolverine in particular looks god awful. I've never liked a single Wolverine stitch.
I'm gonna be honest, I never liked Ramos's work. It looks weird.
I mean, I don't hate him, but it's
He's
not the best. I've mentioned this in my reviews for Amazing Spider-Man, Nick Spencer Spider-Man. I wish they had gotten someone different to do the fill-in issues instead of Ramos to fill in for Otley.
They got Ramos. I'm sorry. The last time I saw him on shit was the Champions.
Yeah, that wasn't his best work.
Oh God. His faces, his mouths. Okay, it's not Brian level mouth bad. And I'm sorry, Brian, but I saw that fucking work and that's gonna haunt me forever. Brian level's mouths look awful. But Ramos.
Ramos is an entirely different level of bad.
We need more
Okay,
people.
so
I need
coming
a
into
partner
this,
to keep me alive.
so coming into this, we get the classic Ramos tropes of disproportionate arms, balloon tits, and feet that aren't feet.
But most
That
martial artists can't draw feet. I think that's like a staple.
ever since the 90s, no one's been able to draw feet accurately.
It's okay, because feet are hard, and also I think that is a Marvel staple. Not being
I think
able.
that's just an industry staple. People can't draw feet.
You know, that's when Stan Lee comes and smacks y'all.
Oh, how charming.
He does. Goes in and says, "You all suck," and then he.
But to continue, Iron Man basically has Spider-Man walk them through it, and I think this is probably where Slott's writing showing Peter in charge. When Peter is not in control of the situation, like when he's teaming up with people in his own book, usually there's a problem. But I think that when you let Spider-Man take the lead in his own book, it's okay. I think that's not the worst.
Oh look, you got a chatter. It's Richard Baldwin. He's here for the screaming. Well, there's a lie. You missed.
Yeah, she's pseudo screamed like several times by now.
It's a good comic book about well-drawn feet. You know, that would sell well, I bet.
But Spider-Man basically walks the Avengers through taking out Doc Ock's Octobots. They're basically giant Octobots.
Oh joy! It's Dan Slott's favorite #1 waifu he has throw pillows over. Oh, who could have guessed? Yeah. Sorry.
But Spider-Man saves a civilian who's a deer in the headlights, and you basically get this classified trope of, wait a minute, didn't you steal my wallet? Oh, Jameson's right, you're a menace.
What? That sounds stupid.
Well, okay.
I mean, it is kind of stupid of, hey, I'm just going to randomly rant that it's your fault that my wallet has been misplaced.
Well, to be fair, he didn't know where his wallet was, and Spider-Man was the only one who tackled it.
It would have been better to showcase it in a different light, though, of the situation. Deer in the headlights, and he pushes him out of the way and maybe injures the guy, like twists his ankle or breaks something of his. Or, like, if it was a lady with a purse, like, or a watch gets smashed up, he goes, do you know how hard it is, God, do you know how hard it is to get the replacements for this? God, Jameson was right about you. Or breaks the phone as they're pushing them out of the way.
But, anyways, after Spider-Man gets told to screw off again, oh no, we've got, oh crap. What? It's Jonathan. Oh no!
Whoa.
Oh!
Let him in. Who is Jonathan?
He's a friendo.
Jonathan! Jonathan, will you save me from this hell?
Jonathan. No, he won't. There is no escape.
No, Jonathan. Jonathan, will you come? Will you come over? I'm so lonely. Somebody else was supposed to be here and they left me. They left me to suffer. Suffer, I tell you. I can't deal with it. No, Dan Slott, get the heck away from me, you son of a... You're the reason I'm dying. You bastard.
But after that, we cut to Gracie Mansion, which is J. Jonah Jameson's house. As he remember that in this era, Jameson was the mayor of New York.
This being weird. He's winking at me. This is your fault, Quill. You brought him here. Just continue.
Oh boy.
With Jameson being married, that's actually only one plus, I have to say. I could kind of see that working until he spurgs out for a bit. Nah.
Yeah.
Parts of it
And
work.
basically he and his wife Marla get evacuated from the mansion by what I guess is New York Secret Service. I don't know enough about state politics to know who exactly is their security force, but from a distance you see a masked metal boy hanging from the roof of an adjacent building. And as you'll learn later, this is Alistair Smythe, aka the Spider Slayer. Even though who Spencer Smythe is, then that should be fun for you. So basically, Jameson and Marla get in his car, and Marla kisses him, and he's like, "Wait, what the fuck? Why?" And so at this point, they were having marital problems.
Oh, joy. Just what we need. Of course, Dan Slott's going to say that because everybody in Marvel can't have a stable relationship.
Now, to be fair, I think this was someone in the comments section. Tell me who was the writer that introduced Jameson's marital problems. I don't think it was Slott. I want to say it was either Wade or Zeb Wells.
Didn't we confirm that Dan Slott wrote that Carly Cooper banged not Carly Cooper, but Michelle Gonzalez banged Spider-Man when he was blackout drunk?
Yeah, that was 600, so that was him, I think.
What a great guy. Wow, Dan Slott. Wow. This is what it's him. It's the other one I hate. I hate him. This is what you've done. Look at the shit you have brought, Joker.
Oh no!
Party that I do not like. I do not like Sam. I do not like this at all. And I'm here.
But going forward, after Jameson,
continue.
Like seriously.
Okay,
so after Jameson and Marla have their marital spat, we cut to Andrew Air Force Base, where we see Colonel John Jameson getting ready to perform an airstrike on an inhabited populace. So war crimes.
Why would he freaking do that? Oh wow, let's make him the bad guy. Super duper mega bad. Why?
Okay, so
wasn't he also a werewolf?
That was way back.
I know. I thought that he returned back to it.
No.
Oh, okay.
Where did you read that?
I forget. Probably somebody's stupid fanfic.
Probably, I think that sounds about right.
Yeah, but I feel like he wouldn't have done it because he's supposed to be portrayed as kind of a,
I mean, this was ordered by a U.S. politician, so
I know, but still, I think he would fight it. Or at least show some sympathy for what he's about.
Yes, Alexis, this is ASM Volume 1, 648. No, this is after he married She-Hulk, because I want to say the She-Hulk marriage was in the mid-2000s. This issue came out in mid-2011.
And they broke up?
They were married. I mean, they divorced. Why
did they divorce? Does anybody really know?
Off the top of my head is because Jay Jonah didn't like the idea of his son being married to a cape.
That's it.
This wasn't Slott. I don't think that was Slott's run.
No, I don't think it was Slott's run, but I'm like, damn, all these people are the dumbest people in People Land at Marvel. Oh, hey, let's get people married and then just randomly divorce them because I can't have a stable marriage. Nobody can.
But anyways, as John is taking off, we get introduced to Captain America, or Steve Rogers, who is right now as commander of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Hooray.
Because there was a big shuffle of characters during the Heroic Age. And he basically says
I think it would be fine, though. I think that is a good idea for Captain America to become leader of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm not going to lie. That is a good idea.
So you would endorse the idea from Nick Spencer? So basically, he tells the only airman left on base who's guarding the Vertex shuttle to basically screw off. I'm going to take care of this. And you notice on that last panel that his eyes are going black. We'll get back to that later. But we go back to New York, where Spider-Man is dealing with the Autobots near the Baxter building. And the F4 basically tell him to screw off because they're having their own little problems right now with a giant Octobot tearing through their building. And so Spider-Man goes off, and he gets saved. Not really saved, but an Octobot blows up near him, and it turns out it was saved by Black Cat, balloon tits and all.
Right, balloon titty.
And so she sidles up alongside him and says, hey, let me join the Avengers. Spider-Man says, no, you, and then he runs away. Basically he goes, this is an exact dialogue line. That was close. Felicia's way scarier than any Octobot. I cannot be fooling around with Spidey. Not when Peter Parker is finally got himself a girl. The sweet, cute, and nerdy Miss Carly Cooper. Hey guys, look, guys! I triggered nerd. I got her. But as Spidey is swinging through the city, he gets an image of he hallucinates ghost heads of all of his supporting cast. You have Ben Urich, I think that's Nora Winters, Mary Jane, Aunt May, Jay Jameson, because everyone cares about him.
Oh yeah, totally.
I think that's not that's Marla.
Easily be killed off. Number 76. So
he has a little spat with Otto, who reveals that I don't think he reveals it, but he basically says, I'm gonna kill you because that always works.
Hooray!
And it cuts back to Andrew Air Force Base, where Electro is sneaking in, and so it's revealed that Commander Rogers was in fact Chameleon.
Oh no!
And so they dump a bunch of Octobots on the floor. They don't really explain why they dump on the floor. That's explained in the next arc, but they dump it in the middle of a hangar near the Vertex shuttle. And so Dr. Octopus, we cut Dr. Octopus's base. We don't know where it is, but Dr. Octopus basically says, okay, the Octobots were a diversion. Time to blow them up. Smaxo. Electro at this point was made of pure energy. He could sneak through, he could travel through electrical currents. And he was just pure energy.
Hey, look, it's Feisty. Hi, Feisty.
Hi, Feisty. And so Otto says, or Doc Ock says, let's blow him up.
Can we blow up this comic?
No.
Why not? Oh, come on.
No, it's $3.99.
Oh God, that's still too much money.
So Doc Ock says, so y'all got 2.5 minutes before New York goes kablooey, and Sandman protests this because he's got a kid in the city, and so Doc Ock's like, if there's a solution, Spider-Man will find it. But he's a genius. I like this issue and this arc in particular because it highlights Peter's intelligence. Like, he pulls off a lot of insane science shit in this issue and the subsequent issues of this arc, which I don't think we give a lot of people. Which I don't think people give Slott enough credit for.
Well, maybe because that makes no sense to me. I just don't understand why he would just write like Otto Octavius as being all like, we're gonna blow up the city, and Sandman's like, wait, I have a kid here, don't worry, Spider-Man will find an answer. Why the fuck would you try blowing up the city if you know it's gonna fail? Do you just really like stroking Spider-Man's ego or something? Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
I think it's just for show. Remember that the Octobots, you have to remember that the Octobots in this issue were a diversion.
Well, I don't really care. It's terrible writing, and so it should have been played off a little bit better. At least in this.
But anyways, Reed Richards and Iron Man are trying to figure out how to defuse the bombs. And they go through a couple of options. None of them will work without setting off a chain reaction. They try to destroy one, the rest will go with it. And there's a weird fart joke in there somewhere. That was dumb.
Well, no shit. It's stupid.
But Spider-Man, in a move that's very similar to what happened in Nick Spencer's issue where Spider-Man found a pattern and then ran with it, Peter looks at a clock and realizes a fallback plan. And so he shoves Iron Man and Mr. Fantastic to the side and says, "Hey, yo, I got this." And he resets the Autobots' operating systems to the system's built-in clock. And so this is actually really smart. I actually thought
but at the same time, you're dealing with the two smartest people on the magic freaking planet.
Well, this is where I think this issue is shown, is because it works with Peter's spontaneity and innovation on the fly. Yeah. Iron Man and Mr. Fantastic are very long-term thinkers, whereas Peter...
Here? Why is Reed there in Iron Man? It's an Avenger team up, but Reed's never been in an Avenger.
It's supposed to be a citywide crisis.
Yeah,
Peter basically syncs up the built-in the timer on the bombs to the internal chronometer. So he uses daylight savings time to buy them an extra hour. And so they basically managed to get all the Octobots into the harbor and blow them up before a giant explosion. So then we get to the bad part of the comic, where
this wasn't a bad part.
Yes.
Oh gosh.
So we cut back to the front line, where Peter is basically doing manual labor for Nora Winters, who's actually a character I am indifferent to in the Brand New Day era. Octobots transform and roll out. Oh, jeez.
Actually, that's funny. I do like that.
But he and your boy Phil Urich are manual labor for Nora Winters at front line because Peter got blacklisted from the Daily Bugle. It was a stupid storyline where Peter basically
they wanted to ruin everything about him. So joy, because let's ruin everything.
Where Peter basically doctored photos,
which makes no fucking sense. I mean, why would you do this to this guy? There was a long rant. I've seen somebody actually explain this. It makes no sense. Why would Peter do this? How come this and that happened? It's stupid. Because you want to know why? They said they wanted to retcon Spider-Man, Peter Parker, to day one. What? When he was taking photos of the Bugle? You took it away and then you fired him? Dude, he used to be a teacher. And then you're like, no, he can't be a teacher. He has to go back to being
hey, Adam.
And then you fired him. Yeah. Continue.
But Nora basically tosses them around like rag dolls and basically treats them like nothing. And so Robbie says he can't pay Peter because paychecks go out at the end of the week. Meanwhile, Ben and Nora are discussing her story. She wants to investigate Goblin Nation. Not Goblin Nation, but goblin tattoos. There's a whole goblin subculture.
This is stupid.
Because remember that during Dark Reign, Norman Osborn had like a big following. Samurai, they did put him back in Aunt May's house for a bit.
After one more day, and I'm realizing that was a godsend. I was spared shit. Oh my gosh. Oh my god.
She makes a point that among white supremacists and U.S. national, this was before the whole alt-right craze.
Like it's slowly going through, though, now doesn't it?
You make mention of white supremacists doesn't automatically make it a bad comic, I don't think.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm just so used to it, where they're all like, Nazis are taking over. I have yet to have ever seen one damn real Nazi. I have yet
But
to find
getting out of the political zone, we cut to Phil Urich, who's basically being used as a give me a word. Basically used as a chump. And if anyone here knows Phil Urich, there was a time back in I think the mid '90s where he became the so far as I know only heroic version of the Green Goblin, unless Bart Hamilton off to the side that I don't know of, off of Mark's Cobwebs articles, unless he did some kind of heroic thing. Phil is the only.
I want to talk about him because
We'll talk about him when we talk to 649. Yes, Smacks Out Patsy. That's a good word. We'll use that.
I need everything right now because people like Phil. Why did you fucking
But basically Jonah comes with Marla and they give Robbie what is essentially the Daily Bugle name. They pooled some resources and thank you, Game Motron. That is very kind of you. But they give Robbie back the rights to run the Daily Bugle. Meanwhile, Peter's disappeared back to Alphabet City, which is from what I've heard, it's essentially a ghetto.
This sounds stupid.
Peter lives in the ghetto.
Sesame Street next.
And then he goes back to Michelle Gonzalez, who has all of his stuff out on the patio. Not on the patio, but in the hallway. And she says that since Vin on parole, she's moving back to Chicago. And it's revealed that Peter's been off in the time stream fighting Kang, and that's why he didn't hear about it. And so Michelle, at the end of it, somehow, Michelle says, "You were a good guy, Peter."
Even though I raped you.
That aside, Peter basically goes through a montage asking for people to move in with him, or for him to move in with them. The first one he calls is, ironically, Randy Robertson. If you've been reading Nick Spencer's Spider-Man, that's exactly who he's living with now. So I think that's kind of a weird callback. Where Peter basically says, "Hey, Randy, can I live with you?" And Randy basically says, "No, you." And then it's like, "Oh, hey, I left a piece of cheese in the fridge. I named it Kevin. I thought it was fun." It's a long joke and it's not funny.
This sounds awful. I hate everything.
See, Stan.
You're making my life hell. Every moment hearing about this just deteriorates my body.
But next up is Betty. She doesn't answer because his battery dies.
This sounds stupid.
And then he goes to Carly. Yes, go to your girlfriend who you've been dating for less than one issue and ask to move in with her. And so Carly is off to roller derby, the only element of her character.
That is stupid. And I hate her
at this point in Carly's history, she has 3 character traits. 1 cop, 2 girlfriend, and 3 roller derby.
You forgot the 4th one. Villain daughter so father can bang you in comic.
Yeah, Adam, you were right. Randy and Peter were roomies during Volume 2. I want to say it was just after the Mackie Byrne reboot started. Don't quote me on that, but I do know that they were dead. Like back when MJ was dead, Peter and Randy did live with each other for a bit.
Yep, that was that was an interesting time. Nobody liked it, and they actually listened.
I'm surprised that's when he didn't stop reading ASM, considering that.
Here's the thing, though: people fought for it, and they brought it back. They brought back MJ because MJ's too marketable, and people were leaving because MJ was gone. So they brought her back, and then they say, "We're going to ruin the marriage now, derp derp." And then guess what? They lose half of their audience. They've never been able to bring it.
Basically, Peter says, "Hey, Carly, I know we've only been dating for less than a single issue, but you want to move in? Can I move in with you?" Carly says, "No, you." And so after that, we make like this random ass scene change to Aunt May and Jay Jameson to meet up with John Jameson and Marla.
Everything hurts.
And so it's not a weird scene, but it's like an unnecessary one where Aunt May basically goes, "Hey, you know how everyone else is saying Peter is smart? Remember, guys, Peter's smart."
Oh, really? He's smart
She's-
enough to actually find, because I have yet to see him actually find a place to stay. I hate everything.
Brain smarts don't equal street smarts, nerd.
I hate everything. I hate everything about this. And
But basically,
it hurts.
Aunt May gives Marla a scrapbook of Peter's scientific accomplishments. Like back in high school, he built a homemade version of Reed Richards' neutrino catcher. And Marla's like, you know what? Let me see what I can do. And yes, Max, so Peter is smart. But another scene change that I think they could have cut that scene entirely. But it's another change back to Peter where he's talking to Flash, who has no legs.
Right.
It's like looking at Dalton. And so Peter says, "Hey Flash, can I live with you?" Flash says, "No, you. Screw off." And so it's revealed very awkwardly that Flash and Betty are back together. And I don't exactly know the exact chronology of Flash and Betty's relationship, but I think this was the third time they were back together. Someone in the comments, like, it'll probably be Adam who says it, but
this is stupid.
This is like the third or fourth time they got back together.
It's not gonna work.
And so then we go to MJ. If you know how I feel about Dan Slott writing MJ, this is one of the few times where, marriage aside, he wrote. That explains why you can't get a date, Fat Panther. Ugh. There. But he goes to MJ and they basically laugh about it. And then finally we cut to Aunt May's, I don't think it's Aunt May's apartment. Yeah, this is Aunt May's apartment. And so Peter knocks on the door and Aunt May basically hands Peter over to Marla and says, "Have your fun with him." And Marla takes Peter away to her limo. I think this is a double-sized issue. This is way more than... Yeah, this is double-sized. Holy crap.
Oh my god, no.
I just now realized that.
You've laid this shit.
I never got a copy of this issue when it first came out. I've only had it since 2011. But we got another shot of the Spider Slayer. And he's like, yeah, that guy looked at me weird, even though I'm too far away. But whatever. Time to make a cameo for Mac Gargan. And so we cut over to the raft, where at this point Mac Gargan was still Venom and not the Scorpion. Because if anyone remembers Spider-Man Marvel Knights, that was when Mac became Venom and not Scorpion anymore. And so this is now they're finally using Sonics to get the symbiote off of him. And so they basically hand it over to someone. They don't exactly say who. They're teasing it, but this was teasing Agent Venom at the time. Yeah, Venom Mac. During I think 2004, Mac became Venom and ditched the Scorpion armor. This will become a plot point later on in this story time.
Oh my gosh, no. Can we just kill it all?
And we cut to the one
let's just
change. And we cut to the one change I like, and I think Nerd hates disturbingly, Horizon Labs.
Oh my gosh, no. Okay, Quill, I'm gonna suggest this. Let's burn the book. It's okay.
No,
okay.
that sounds vaguely Aryan.
I'll give you $5. And we will bury it in the backyard.
Will you pay me 40? It says 39.99.
It's not worth that much, and you know that, you dick. Not worth that. That's not even worth $6. I bet that it was from a bargain bin.
Actually, it was in a barn. Actually, nerd, it was in a Barnes and Noble.
Oh, okay, that's close enough.
Oh,
I hate
damn!
everything. I can't believe we're reading this. I hate this so much.
We get introduced to Max Modell, aka Dan Slott's self-insert OC. You thought Carly Cooper was bad. She is. This guy is basically like Wonder Bread.
Okay, Fat Panther says he'll give you tree fitting.
I don't know what that means.
You never saw South Park? Fat Panther's
I've seen bits and pieces.
Okay. Fat Panther's the Loch Ness Monster. No, wait. You'd be asking for tree fitting. Then you'd be the Loch Ness Monster. Okay? That's like the story, okay? It's a long story, and then it ends with somebody asking for, I need about tree fitting. And then it turns out it's the Loch Ness Monster, and it wants tree fitting. I vote we talk about that instead. It's like a
that Barnes and Noble owes us $80.
Can we please?
But basically, we get introduced to what is essentially Hipsterville. This is like the science lab for hipsters.
Okay, so let me get this straight. So Dan Slott has been on Tumblr before it became heavily mainstream. We all now know who is responsible for half of the creators at Marvel currently. Oh my god!
But
how's it working now, Dan? When they came for you, I heard the statement, Dan. We warned you they'd do it. We warned you.
But we get introduced to two of the new supporting cast. That old supporting cast needs to go away. This new hip supporting cast, aka
I can't draw when this is happening.
But we get introduced to Grady Scraps and everyone's favorite sociopath / villain in Volume 4, Sajani Joffrey. Who even though she's a resident xenologist, she never does anything involving aliens.
Because Dan Slott sucks at writing. Also because she's retarded, and that's not a real profession.
And it's revealed that
it's like having a gender studies degree. It's never going anywhere.
That Sajani creates this artificial vibranium called Reverbium. Reverbium, which is a dumb sounding name, but given that in, I think it was Hudlin's Black Panther run, T'Challa activated a device that rendered all of the vibranium on the world inert using shadow physics.
I hate everything. I don't
know.
And
so, surprise, the experiment goes wrong. I knew it.
Why? Why is everything stupid?
So everything gets screwed over, and the lab starts tearing itself apart, basically.
It's Burn, you little ungrateful bastard. Burn, you stupid hipster territory. I hate Horizon Lab. I hate everything. And
you hate Horizon? Oh.
I hate it so much. And it's forever in the Dan Slott universe, and I hope it gets erased.
But Peter basically manages to crawl his way over the control panel, and he manages to save the day. We don't see it happening. We barely get a panel of Rainbow's having Peter type into the control panel.
If we get a panel in Nick Spencer's Spider-Man run where he retcons Horizon Labs, I will buy 3 trades.
No, you won't.
I will. I'll buy trades. I will buy the trade.
Nerd, if you think Horizon Labs is the worst thing Slott created, you ain't seen shit.
No, I know. But if they can retcon... Okay, here's the thing, though. If they retcon all of Dan Slott's run, I will buy all the trades of Secret Empire. And that's a damn promise.
No, you won't.
Yeah, I will.
The Slott
Try
commenter
me,
is like,
bitch.
I'm making Cuckium a thing in Fantastic Four.
Right next to the racist stereotype that I keep hearing about.
Yeah.
I think it's so weird. Okay, what are they gonna find out? Okay. As much as he
But
doesn't like the guy,
anyways,
not his fault. We were talking about it earlier. Can we talk about that instead?
no, we have story time to get through.
But story time is painful.
You don't like story time? Well, that's too bad. You agreed to this.
I was supposed to be on with other people. I'm the only one here.
I thought Kylo was gonna be on here.
Well, you also said Common was gonna be here, and he said
No, I didn't.
I'm suffering. Ugh, somebody help.
But regardless, Horizon's staff say, hey Peter, time to quiz you. And so they conveniently create a series of simulations that conveniently line up with Peter's experiences as Spider-Man, including the Vulture. I think that's not Dollface. No, it's not Dollface.
Stupid. I hate everything.
It's Paper Doll, I think.
I don't care.
And it's either Venom or Carnage. I want to say it's Venom, but the color. This was, I think, Edgar Delgado who did the colors.
We don't need to read this.
Yeah, it was Edgar Delgado, who I think it's Venom, but it looks very similar to Carnage. It's probably the tongue that. So basically, Max is like, you know what? Whatever. Time to hire this random guy that my scientist friend dragged off, but it's essentially off the street, and let's give him a high-paying job with a ton of zeros. So it's implied that with his first paycheck, Peter is essentially a millionaire.
That is so stupid.
I wouldn't mind if Peter got like a 6-figure salary. That makes sense for a scientist, but I don't know, a millionaire, that seems a bit high.
I hate everything. I hate this so much. I mean, I don't mind him making pretty decent money, but also we already know in today's society or whatever that when they write Spider-Man, they believe he must fail. That's the only thing, he must suffer forever. Like a little puppy, you take a stick and you start beating it repeatedly. Oh, is how they enjoy him.
But basically, Peter celebrates, and he forgets that his stuff is like on the ground somewhere in an alley in what is essentially New York's ghetto. And he basically webs up a hammock under the stars, and he's like, "Yeah, this is perfect. Whatever." Time to screw that over. It's the Kingpin in, I think, Fisk Tower says, that Montana reports back and says, "You know what? That reverbium stuff ain't doing good." So Kingpin's like, "It's a weapon. We can use that as a weapon. We'll Iron Man it." And so he reveals his newest hitman, who is the Hobgoblin. Ta-da! And then I like this cover of ASM 649. For reference, I have it on screen now. Aside from the weird clunky Ramos proportions, I really do like this cover. It is menacing. It shows off the Hobgoblin. It's very menacing. That's the proper word to describe it, and I love it.
I guess it is.
And so after 2 pages worth of the Hobgoblin carrying around M4s and shredding through Delvadia's military, it's revealed that Hobgoblin got hired by Kingpin to steal some reverbium. And he's like, "You need anything? Nah, I got this. I'm going to go to my one-stop shop that Norman Osborn kept running while I was away." And so we get this giant panel of him going through this armory where there's like all these wing packs, experimental pumpkin bombs, basically a goblin's little hideaway. And so we get this flaming sword. I like this flaming sword. A lot of this if this had been Roderick Kingsley as the Hobgoblin, I think that this would have been really cool stuff to add to his arsenal. I wouldn't have minded this. And so Hobgoblin realizes, wait a minute, that's a fresh cup of coffee. And so he finds Phil Urich hiding in a closet. Well, I don't know how he got to that closet in time, but he's like,
Did he come out of the closet?
yes, he's gay now.
Well, that may
Not really. But
Is the Iceman gay, where it's just weird? Like, it doesn't seem gay. It just seems like they just kind of killed off the real character and they just replaced him with some weird 90s stereotype.
they could do a scroll, but no, he's not gay. He's straight. He's like, we fought once, and Hobgoblin says, no, that was Mackendale. You lied. Smack, so this was one of the Kingsleys. It was revealed, I think, in 695 or 6 or 7 that Roderick Kingsley brainwashed his brother Daniel Kingsley into being the Hobgoblin for him.
This is
Mackendale, I think, turned into Jack-o'-lantern after a while. I don't want to quote myself on that. My knowledge of Spider-Man that was before I was born, it's somewhat sketchy. I know like the broader details, but I don't know like the exact specifics. That's more up Brad, Zach, and George's alley, or JR's. They have like a photographic memory when it comes to that kind of thing. But Hobgoblin basically goes, "Yeah, time to die, boy." And Phil uses his lunatic laugh from back when he was the Green Goblin. Oh God, what did Fat Panther put down? He put down message retracted. Oh God, what did he say? But he basically starts making Hobgoblin cough up blood and then decapitates him.
Oh.
I actually like Ramos's blood. It's not necessarily realistic, but it's visually very cool.
I just hate everything right now, so.
So after after holding up Hobgoblin's decapitated head, which considering that this is a Marvel comic, you wouldn't expect that from Marvel comic.
I mean,
what's with all these proxy? We've got Joe Quesada, Dan Slott, and Brian Michael Bendis just came in.
Why do you think I try and shield myself and became silent? I'm holding and containing anger. Oh, Elijah has asked, what do you think of my latest video? I don't think I ever asked. Dude, it was so good. Oh my gosh. Have you seen Elijah's video? Dude, he like goes at it. He goes at it for like an hour and 30 minutes, maybe 2 hours on Steven Universe. And it is just the most brilliant, beautiful thing. And we should just go watch it. Let's go watch it, please.
But we cut over to Brooklyn where Nora Winters is investigating a group of white supremacists.
Oh wow, that's like something you don't hear of today's.
Okay, no, this was made in 2011. Back
I don't care, because you want to know what? They've been wandering around fucking Tumblr, as I'm just starting to learn from this goddamn hellspawn. They just weren't ready to announce it yet. They weren't ready to show it off. But this seems to be screaming, hi, I have hipsters and I talk nothing about white supremacists. It seems like they were the movers and shakers and the starters of everything. Thank you, you ungrateful monsters.
But, they realize that Nora has a tape recorder. And it's like, hey, wait, a reporter. Let's kill her.
Good.
And then Spider-Man and Black Cat jump in. And basically beat the crap out of them.
Okay, that's good.
And so this was back when Spider-Man... This was before Slott ruined Black Cat.
Yeah, I know.
And this is basically... Black Cat, this is not necessarily her Avengers audition, but she's kind of hoping Spidey's cred rubs off on her. And so after that, they kind of screw off. Peter heads back.
I hate everything.
And so Peter heads back to his hotel on Park Avenue, and he meets up with Carly Cooper, who has.
Great.
This was back when Netflix. I think this was back when Netflix did before they started streaming and when they did video rental.
Yeah, I guess. I
And
don't
so
know.
Peter has to hide his Spidey costume. And this is kind of a dumb moment, but it's when while Carly's there, Peter is making web fluid. Like
Oh,
she comes across him making web fluid, and he basically passes it up for plant growth formula for rubber tree plants.
this is so stupid. I hate everything. Dan
And
Slott.
then out of nowhere, her cap Carly's police captain calls and basically says, "Hey, got a crime scene for you."
Good. Go away, you ugly bitch.
Whoa, whoa,
I'm sorry that your daddy didn't love you
whoa,
enough. That he had to put you in a book that he fetishized you, rang you up and
oh,
made you have sex with his favorite
nerd,
character.
oh.
You
But
brought me here. This
back
is
to the Daily
great.
Bugle. This was back when I think someone can quote me on this. This is back when ASM was like 32 pages long instead of 22.
That was the only way they could actually sell it, though, at that point. From what I heard, they had to literally start giving them weekly just to keep up money, like to keep issues going well, because so many people dropped that book so quick. It really happened, and it still does happen today, but they can hide it off because that's how they make over saturation and variant covers. I mean, it's starting to bite them now.
Nerd, nerd down.
No forgiveness. No, you brought me here. This is what you get. This is your sin. I hope you're happy. This is what you bring.
Um,
Oh, there's a cat.
what the? But basically, at the Daily Bugle, Robbie's like, "Hey guys, Bugle time." And so Phil shows up for no reason. That was pointless. And it's revealed that when Phil killed the Hobgoblin, he stole his dossier on the Horizon Labs mission that Kingpin sold him for. And Peter wakes up to Aunt May coming over with his lunch or no breakfast and shave shower, and she basically walks him to work. And at Horizon, Peter goes in. And it's actually a very nice scene. I like this one where it's revealed that where Aunt May goes, he did it, Ben. Where it's a flashback to I think ASM number 1, where Aunt May encourages Peter to continue high school so that he can grow up to be a scientist. And I think that's a very nice scene.
I hate
It's a call.
everything.
It's okay. You hate everything though, there. So
Everything hurts. Also, he never said that in the original Spider-Man run because I read the first issues of Spider-Man. That was never
Oh no,
freaking.
it's right here.
Yeah, I mean, you were saying it's a flashback to Spider-Man issue 1.
No, like right here. Not this one.
Oh,
Right
you
there,
mean the shitty one that nobody cares
no,
about.
right there. That's a flashback to I think one of the earlier issues.
I don't recall that ever happening.
Um, look it up.
Alright.
Thanks for coming, Elijah. It was good having you here.
Elijah, don't leave me.
Don't worry, nerd. It'll all be over soon.
Please hurry. I need to go to bed anyway. It's 11, dude. I gotta.
But we'll kind of skim through this issue because it's basically a bunch of jumping through scenes.
Oh, great. That's what we need. You are
Um,
the worst sin upon earth, Dan Slott, sometimes.
no, Smack. So I don't think it happened. It didn't happen in Amazing Fantasy 15 because if I recall, Amazing Fantasy 15 ended with Peter basically wondering about. Like, it basically ended him with walking into the street. But at City Hall, Steve Rogers basically says, "Hey, give Spidey the key to the city."
Why?
Jameson says no, and then John salutes Steve, and he's like, hey, you know what, I'll give up my day for Spidey. And then at the raft, it's revealed that Mac Gargan is on life support. And Mach 5, for those of you who don't know, because I know a lot of you don't like to read comics here in my audience, the original Beetle became Mach 1 when he became a Thunderbolt, back when the Thunderbolts first came together. And so right now in current Marvel, he's Mach 10, but at this point he was Mach 5. And so at this point he's like, back when Mac and I were in the Masters of Evil, he needed that armor to survive. He doesn't have a replacement, then he's totally boned. And so we get introduction to two more Horizon lab members. Bella Fishbach. That's a weird last name. I'm not gonna lie.
The dumbest name ever.
And then Uatu Jackson, whose parents are big Fantastic Four. They named their kid after a fucking alien man. How does that feel?
Everything hurts, and you're making me stay here.
You don't have to.
I have to for this.
And Peter gets introduced to his new lab, and it's like, hey, Peter, don't do anything in secret. They'll screw us over. Peter's like, nah, I won't. And then he basically spends a full day doing nothing. He tries to think of something innovative, and then he's like, yeah, I got Jack. And then Explosion rocks the lab. He changes into Spider-Man. It's revealed that it's the new Hobgoblin. And I do like this line where Hobgoblin blows a hole through the wall and says, trick or treat. But this is weird page immediately following that, where a bunch of Horizon people basically tell us what his sword is made of. Stupid.
Everything hurts.
The Horizon security basically jobs. They get shanked by giant shurikens. And Spider-Man saves Max from getting sliced like a turkey. And then Phil uses what is essentially Miles' Venom Blast. And uses Lunatic Laugh to beat the crap out of him. And the issue ends with him basically about to chop off his head. And so immediately following that, since we're going into issue 650, I do like I know people give me crap for this, but I like the big time suit.
You're allowed to, but
You hate it, I know.
You bring me here, and I hate everything, and I hate everything. And you
Horizon Security doesn't get paid enough for this shit.
I'm not paid enough for this shit. Dude, we're not even monetized. We shouldn't be succumbing to this.
Yeah, how many subs do you have?
I go with over 1,000.
So you should be monetized.
No, you can't be monetized until you get viewership over 4,000 minutes, I believe.
Thanks, YouTube.
Yeah, for being a little bitch. I don't think I would have gotten anything out of it, but it would be nice to have at least $2. Then I could spend those $2.
Where Fat Panther asks, "Where is issue Tree Fitty?"
And then suddenly,
as soon as you respect my authority.
And then he turned into a Loch Ness monster. Actually, I think there is a 3.5 issue. So he is right. There is a Trifete issue.
All right. So, anyways, going into issue 650, it's back off. It's essentially where the last issue left off.
Ew.
And so Bella, in a weird moment, uses Lady Gaga to save Spider-Man, and it's dumb.
Well, no shit, it's Dan Slott. Of course, he doesn't know how to socialize with people. He's like, people like Lady Gaga, right? I am a freaking lonely man that lives.
No, I mean, they commentate that the music is terrible, but it's just a dumb moment.
Of course it's stupid. Doesn't look okay. Here's the thing. Nobody in Marvel cares. They just gave him the book even though they know he sucks at writing it. I don't think he even wanted to write this stupid thing.
Hey,
And
Mr. E.
They hate everything. They have ruined my life. Mr. E, help. Help.
But,
Help me. I am halfway dead right now. I will haunt you after my death for this.
Basically, Spider-Man evacuates the building and tries to use a big tuning fork to cancel out Hobgoblin's reverbium, or his lunatic laugh. And so Spider-Man's still kind of woozy, and Hobgoblin jobs him. He basically takes him out. And so he takes a piece of the reverbium and flies away with it. And it's revealed that he was using a drone to take video footage of the fight. And so Captain Watanabe arrives, and he's like, "So what's up?" And they realize, wait a minute, we can't find Peter. And so Peter is changing out of a Spider-Man costume, and there's another really, really weird scene where the Horizon Labs crew, like Peter basically covers himself up by doing math in his underwear, wearing headphones, wearing sound counseling headphones.
This sounds so stupid. I hate everything.
This was a really dumb moment.
I hate everything that you just said. I know that I'm saying this calmly, but I've died. Like, there's nothing left of me. This is what you've done. Oh my gosh. What time is it?
It is 11:08. Let's see if we can't slam through these issues in another hour. We've only got 2 issues left.
Oh, another hour. I can go an extra.
An extra what?
I could go about probably another 15.
Let's see if we can't slam through issue 650.
I don't know. If I die tomorrow, I'm blaming you.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
Vash, I like Slott's early Spider-Man. I don't like his later Spider-Man. But I like his early stuff. That sounds weird to say, but, you know. Back at Fisk Building, Montana...
If it was Adventure Time, I'd be having some fun. And I'd be bringing my friends and we go to distant lands. But we ain't. We're listening to Dan Slott with one friend in the room.
I'm sorry, nerd. I thought there'd be more people, but, you know.
Everybody wanted me to suffer. This is what you all get. You ungrateful cows. How dare you leave me with him? I will curse you all. Banishment.
No, but okay, you want to get through this? Alright, so Hobgoblin goes to the Fisk building with his slice of reverbium, and he's like, "Hey, pay me." And so Hobgoblin says, "You know, I killed Hobgoblin, so give me the job." He says, like, "Yeah, your job." Kingpin goes, "Yeah, job's yours, whatever." Time to get things done. And so at Horizon, it's revealed that Sahani's research on the reverbium is getting destroyed. And it's like, it's weird because like it has a potential for weaponry, but like everything has a potential for weapons. Paper clips have the potential for being weapons.
Everything can be a weapon, especially if you live in the Marvel universe.
I'm just saying, like, as somebody who isn't necessarily a specialist in fighting, my taekwondo teacher always taught me that anything can be used as a weapon.
Yeah. Everything can. That's why most.
And there's this weird concept. I don't know if this was introduced before Slott's run, but they described they're using anti-metal to.
Excuse me. What the fuck did you just say?
Yeah, the anti-metal. It's according to her, it's from the Savage Land, which is from a different meteorite with different properties.
This is so stupid.
And so basically, Peter calls up Black Cat, who's bathing in milk. Thanks, Slot.
Slot is stupid. I hate him. I hate everything that you're saying.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
You're drawn to my eccentric charm.
You're my friend, but I can only stay for 3 more minutes.
All right. Yeah, I guess I can finish story time on my own.
I'm sorry, dude, but I got work in the morning.
That's fair.
But
in the basically Peter hires Black Cat to. No, he doesn't hire her, but he basically says, "Hey, give me a hand with this. Get your boobs out of the milk, and I'm gonna help you. You're gonna help me steal some shit." And so Phil goes to the Daily Bugle, and he's like, "Hey, got some footage of the Hobgoblin." Plugs it in. It's high quality stuff for the Goblin culture piece. And I think what Slott was going for here was a kind of parallel between Peter and Phil, where Phil, it's obvious that he has an Uncle Ben, and he's taking photos of his alter ego for the Daily Bugle. And weirdly haired Randy comes in, and Nora's like, "Hey, honey, got some good footage." And so there's another scene that I'm not really liking where Peter is working on his stealth suit, and he gets a visit from Carly and MJ. It was separate, but it's like they visited together, and it's weird.
I hate everything you are saying, but guess what? I'm going to bed.
All right, you have a good night, nerd.
Good night, Quill. You are my friend. Please don't die. The process of
I won't. I've got like an immunity to Slottisms.
This hurts. This really does. You have a steel nerves, which is a compliment. But if I end up dying tomorrow, I will haunt you or Slot. I don't know. I'm very angry. Good night.
Night. Okay. So it's time for Neil to take over story time completely. So there's this weird scene where Peter sits with MJ and Carly, and it's kind of insulting kind of to MJ's intelligence, where Peter uses Hank Pym's theory of something MJ wouldn't understand, something over MJ's head. I use MJ wouldn't get this coupled with MJ wouldn't get this either. I don't want to say that's insulting to MJ, but she would at least be able to comprehend what Peter's talking about. She wouldn't just go, what? Her eyes wouldn't just glaze over. She'd at least be trying to understand it. And so it kind of goes the opposite way for MJ, because she goes, I got fashion celebrity Peter and Carly never heard of dropping by the studio. It's a dumb ass scene. Ugh. And there's this new panel of Felicia interrogating a gangbanger from the Goblin. It was essentially the prototype Goblin Nation before Superior, and she reveals that where the Reverbium is. And the guy comes, and the guy basically gives her what she needs, and Peter suits up and heads over her way. The gangbanger tells Hobgoblin, "Hey, I did what you wanted. Now let me down." Phil kills him. You know, kids' book. And I think this is back when the book was rated A for all ages. So, you know, the Nation of Goblin Nation. No, that's not how this works, Smaxo. You idiot. And so on the next page, there is a really awkward, and I don't know why Ramos. I don't know if Slott scripted this or if Ramos did it on his own. But it's this scene where Black Cat is like leaning down, and you can see her it's like this really weird, unnecessary scene of her cleavage. I don't know why. I mean, if it was drawn well, I wouldn't mind it, but yeah, Vash, I get you. It's hard to watch. It's hard to read an ASM story that's written by Slott and has MJ in it. But Black Cat finds this box that has goggles on and an ear that has goggles and earpiece. She puts them on, and it reveals Spider-Man in what is essentially a Tron suit. And as someone who enjoys Tron costumes like black with neon highlights, I don't hate this costume. It's tacky by Spider-Man standards, but it doesn't look bad. So they swing off to go get the Reverbium. Now, I don't mind the I don't mind the stealth suit. What I do mind is this variant cover by Mark Brooks. Now, I like Mark Brooks as a cover artist. He's a good cover artist, but he is a terrible, terrible, terrible costume designer, because this was around the same time Tron Legacy came out, and I want to say that this was promo material because this was just after Marvel acquired Disney acquired Marvel. This costume is garbage, okay? I'm not gonna lie. This costume is complete trash. And so, this is a really weird issue because it's very cluttered in terms of pacing. Hobgoblin basically says, "Hey, I got some sources. They're saying Spider-Man and Black Cat are already here," and we reveal that Tiberius Stone, who, if you didn't read the 2000s Iron Man, where Tony was, I believe this is when Tony was Secretary of Defense, where Black Cat, where Tiberius was Rumiko Fujikawa's squeeze after she and Tony broke up. But for some reason, he's here now. I don't know why he's here, but he is. And Black Cat cuts the power to the security feeds in the lower levels. And Spider-Man basically gets ambushed. They make a joke about the Tron movie. It's all corporate sanctioned. And so Hobgoblin goes to confront him. And then Spider-Man and Black Cat split up. Spider-Man goes to take care of the Reverbium, and Black Cat goes to steal some shit from Kingpin's penthouse, which is dumb. I don't know why. This was, I think, when Black Cat was trying to go on the straight and narrow. That was after Brand New Day. Nothing after Brand New Day was consistent. And so Peter makes his way down to the lower levels, takes out the hand ninjas. This was after Shadowland, I think. And Hobgoblin breaks in and uses lunatic laugh. This was very much the Venom Blast of pre-Miles. Pre the Venom Blast, this was the Venom Blast. The lunatic laugh was very much the Venom Blast of the early 2010s. And so Hobgoblin unveils Spider-Man, and so meanwhile it cuts back to Fisk and Montana, and Black Cat tries to sneak in, but Montana catches her. I don't know how Black Cat just stood out in the open. That's dumb. But Montana catches her, and she's like, I'm gonna neck her. And he grabs her by the neck with his rope. And so Spider-Man changes suit colors. It changes from green to red. It's not dumb. I just like both of those. I hate the blue one, but I hate the blue circuits. But I like the red and green versions. And so that renders his lunatic laugh invisible or invulnerable to him. Though on the downside, it renders everything that comes from outside of him useless. And it also renders whatever he says invisible to them. So it kind of goes both ways. Um, Meanwhile, Black Cat tries to escape, and then Fisk grabs her by the throat. I think it's really weird. If anyone could tell what Black Cat what Kingpin is doing to her in this panel right there, I don't know what the hell that noise is. It looks like some kind of porno. I'm not gonna lie. Um, then he melts the sword with an anti-metal spider. And so basically the whole building comes down, or it starts collapsing. And Spider-Man gets Black Cat the hell out of there. Montana just tries to save himself. He dies. Montana dies. He just falls like a chump to his death. But Montana dies. How does that feel, guys? Montana just necks himself by falling off a damn building. And then Spider-Man carries Black Cat to safety. And it's like, hey, I stole something. Ha. And Spider-Man's like, yeah, we're not doing this again. No, I got that. Hell, yeah. Yes, Max, Montana died. And so at the end, Kingpin goes, hey, Hobgoblin guy, you got a place at the table. I'll give you a steak when you come over for dinner. Yeah, and we'll just feed you dog kibble. And so Hobgoblin goes to see the Tinkerer, and he's like, yeah, it's gonna cost you. It's lovely design. It's lovely tech. And so in the meantime, along with Kingpin's payments to Hobgoblin, he also goes to the Daily Bugle and starts selling his drone footage to the Daily Bugle. And to be fair, he kind of got on the train way before everybody else did. He got on the selling footage of drones before everyone else. I'll give Phil this. He got on that train way before everybody. It's like a hipster. He did. I'm like, oh, I flew drones before it was cool. So back at Horizon Labs, Peter is given a job well done by Max Modell. He locks his Tron suit in the cupboard, essentially, and he goes to dinner with Carly Cooper, and it's like a weird and knowing that they're gonna break up at Spider Island, it's kind of weird watching them interact here. Like, they try to be sweet and shit, but it's kind of it's weird watching them interact now that Peter and MJ are back together, and I'm suspecting they're gonna undo one more day given Spencer's current direction. But it's weird watching them interact. I don't know. But at the end, they go to dinner, and Peter's like, I'm not drinking. And at the end, he goes, oh, I can't drink. I've got work tomorrow. And Peter goes, I finally did it. I hit the big time. End. Oh, that's not good for the book. Shit. That wasn't good. That wasn't good at all. Okay, so that is the first arc of Dan Slott's Spider-Man. And I think that it had promise. This was an arc that I think had a lot of potential. And I don't know, it could have gone either way. I think it was more good than bad. There was certainly more that I enjoyed than I hated. There was a lot of really weird scenes, like Black Cat in a bath full of milk. The Peter MJ Carly scene. The one where he's singing in his underwear. Those were really weird scenes, but I think they're the size of 648 made up for a lot of the problems that were in 649 through 51. Ramos's art was certainly a I don't want to say it was a step down from some of the brand new day artists. We got some returns from like Marcos Martin, and I think that it was a weird choice to take because the next arc we got Stefano Caselli, who's one of my favorite Marvel artists in the staple, and I think that the problem was that they should have started out with Caselli. That should have been their first play. Ramos should have been the second to bat because yeah, Vash, I did see that. That was actually I haven't liked Rainier Vows since the time skip, but I think that it's one of the best scenes in the book since the time skip, and probably one of the best scenes in the entire book altogether. The scene where they revealed that Annie's actually a second child. I knew that Annie was going to be a second child. I don't know why people thought that Annie was going to be an alternative version of Mayday, especially considering that this takes place in a universe where Civil War never happened, or where Civil War was supposed to happen, but it didn't. Um, Going back to Slott, you can tell that like when he started off with when he started, he had a lot of promise. I liked up until mid Superior. I want to say either issue 10 was his last good issue or issue 13. But midway through Superior, that was when he started turning to trash. Like people started making really irrational decisions, and I couldn't get over that. It was dumb. It just started kind of devolving into dumb fun. And I get why some people didn't like it. I certainly didn't like it afterwards, but I think that some people rib on Ends of the Earth and hey Devils Do, how are you doing, man? But I think that some people rib on Ends of the Earth too much because it's a good story. Slot wasn't consistent by any measure going into his sole control of ASM. I don't think anyone's going to try and argue that. That was indisputable because there was a ton of crap in his run. There was uh the arc with Anti-Venom and the Wraith. That was bad. The issue where Betty gets mugged and Aunt May tries to shame Peter with your Uncle Ben would be ashamed of you, Peter. That issue pissed me off. And then any issue with the Lizard, I did not like the Lizard issues. I know a lot of people like the No Turning Back issues. I didn't like those. That's an unpopular opinion, but it's one I'm sticking to. Alpha was total garbage. I've never seen a single person defend the Alpha issues, and I think that's for a good reason because the Alpha issues are trash. Uh, I liked Danger Zone. Danger Zone was a good arc. There was the arc immediately after Peter and Carly broke up. That was trash. There was a lot of bad issues in Slott's run. I'm not going to try and say that everything he did was good, but his main highlight arcs, those were good. And I want to say that he had some of the best. I don't want to say he had the best artists, but he had a lot of good artists. He had Giuseppe Camuncoli, Stefano Caselli, uh, Humberto Ramos is very much a black sheep of the Slott run. He has some of the. It's kind of ironic because some of the arcs he had the best writing in, but he certainly didn't have the best art on those issues, which I think really makes a lot of them average because a lot of it's most of Slott's issues are either the art shines but the writing blows, or the writing's great, and the art blows. Or did I just say the exact same thing twice? I probably did, but the point was I like Ends of the Earth. That sounds like some. I know people don't like me for saying I like Ends of the Earth, but I do. It's one of those stories I think works despite all the stuff working against it. Um, I don't know. I just this, but point is, this arc I liked. It's dumb, and it's not dumb. There's actually a lot of good moments in there, but there are certainly some dumb ones. Um, that's all I've really got to say about Slott's premiere arc. Because I mean, we talked about a lot of it in the initial story arc. We talked about it a lot during the actual recap. But I think that's really all you can say about it, especially in since I've done a lot of stuff talking about Superior and ASM going into Volume 4. If you go to my Crawl Space reviews, then you know that I have a lot to talk about for those issues. Um, I don't know, Devil. I'm not gonna agree with that. I don't think that this tops Clone Saga is worse because Clone Saga was 2 years of constant retcons, jumping in other titles. It was a giant mess. It was. I don't think Clone Saga was worth. You're counting out a ton of terrible Spidey stories. You're counting out the first half of the other Spider Verse. Clone Conspiracy. You're counting out a lot of terrible stuff. I don't want to say that Superior was bad because I think that the last half of Superior was complete off the rails, but I don't know. I can't say that it was worse than Clone Saga. That's a little rough. That's a little hard to believe. Um, Now I'm going to bring up the straw poll. I'd give this arc maybe a solid B. Yes, Maxwell, you're right that the Clone Saga should have ended with Pete and MJ moving to Oregon and Ben Riley being the new Spider-Man. Um, Going to the straw poll. In the next 2 minutes, you guys have the next 2 minutes to go ahead and vote for the next story time because I'm going to try and do one of these every week, and I'm going to try and I'm going to have options every week, 4 options every week for you to decide what I talk about next week. There's stories that I like and I have access to, but I want the audience to decide what I talk about. So in the description there is a straw poll link. Can everyone see it? If you can, go click that link, and you'll see a poll. And whatever you do, click that straw poll link, and that clicks to the results. But you can vote, and you can pick among 4 different stories for me to talk about next week. We have The Life of Times of Cindy Moon, numbers 1 through 7, which is Silk Volume 0, number 1 through 7. Down Among the Dead Men, Marvel Knights Spider-Man, number 1 through 4. Revenge of the Spider Slayers, the arc immediately following this one. And Life After Death, which is Scarlet Spider, number 1 through 6, which is the first issues of the Kane series. Right now, we have Life of Times of Cindy Moon and Down Among the Dead Men in a tie. So I need one more vote to break the tie. And I'm going to set a timer for 3 minutes. In that time, ask me. Devil's Due, it's in the description, the straw poll link. I'm going to set a timer for 3 minutes, and in that time, ask me anything. Ask me anything, what you think about certain things. All right, so Down Among the Dead Men is... yeah, Vash, it was strongly implied that Electro is bi, or at least bi-curious in Mark Millar's story. All right, we're actually getting a lot of Down Among the Dead Men. Just so you know, by default, in all of this, the first option will be talked about this week, and then the second option will be talked about in the second. The second option will be in the running for the week after that. So if Down Among the Dead Men wins, then we got to vote for Life After Death. But if this week, if Down Among the Dead Men wins, which I'm guessing it's going to, considering it has a very commanding lead over Silk and the other titles, then Silk will be in the running for next week, because that is something I want to talk about. And there will be gap weeks where I pick a story and I decide to talk about those. And I'm planning on doing certain stories. I have some that I want to do. I want to do a Silk video. I want to do... these are stories I want to talk about, except for Revenge of the Spider Slayers. That one was just there because I want to continue. I had a plan to continue Slott's run, but I wanted people to decide. So it's looking like Down Among the Dead Men's going to win, but Silk will be on next week. Will be on next week's poll. And then, I don't know. Spider books. You guys can leave some recommendations in there and I'll see if I want to talk about those. There are some I don't really want to talk about those, but I always want my viewers to have a say in what I talk about, because I believe that's important to a healthy relationship between viewer and content creator. Tell you what, we've got 30 seconds left. Last minute. The Life and Times of Moon. Yeah. Yeah, I tried to save her in Fun Neighborhood, but Slott kind of gave me nothing to work with name wise. 30 seconds, guys. Any last minute votes will be going now. Down Among the Dead Men's looking like a dead winner here. So we'll talk. You know what? Let's end this 17 seconds early. Okay then. So next week we'll be talking about Down Among the Dead Men. Marvel Knights Spider-Man number 1 through 4 by Mark Millar and Terry and Rachel Dodson. Did I pick up? Yes, I did. I ordered it. It is on its way from In Stock Trades. If you go to the Spider-Girl and Crawlspace Patreon, I work on the satellite reviews. And you'll hear me and Zach talk about the Spider-Girl Complete Collection. You'll also hear us talk about Scarlet. You'll also hear us talk about Ben Reilly's Scarlet Spider, Renew Your Vows, Venom, Spider-Man, Deadpool, all the satellite titles. If you pay $5 a month, you can hear about that. Okay, so next week, Down Among the Dead Men. We're looking at Down Among the Dead Men next week. Then 5 votes, 56%. Cindy Moon will be on next week's running, and then Life After Death. I didn't think people would vote for Revenge of the Spider Slayers, but I kind of had to put that there by default since it was Slott's run. Okay, I think this is a good place to wrap it up. So thanks, guys. I really wanted this to succeed. I think this was a pretty good success coming out of the woodwork as a regular series. I think that's about it. I will see you guys next week. Until then, stay swinging. Talk to you later, guys.